All right, Dr. Cabral, let's talk about longevity. Let's talk about the fountain of youth.
Yes.
Getting people to not just live longer, but live better for longer. What are two of the most important things that people can do, or most simple, basic things that people can do, besides the obvious like diet and stuff like that, that people can do to kind of extend their lifespan or give them a better quality of life long term?
One of the things you look at is like, regardless of the diet, honestly, it's regardless of what even the foods that you're eating. If you can build in a daily fast and then longer fast, either monthly or quarterly into your year, that is one of the best things you can do to not only improve cardiovascular risk, stroke, but also decrease cancer cells in the body. Because most people don't know, but our body is actually creating cancer cells, not on purpose, but it's gone awry, and cancer cells are always developing. So this thing called apoptosis or autophagy is taking place, where we're programming those cancer cells to kill themselves, and autophagy is actually then cleaning them up. It's taking them out. It's almost like Pac-Man going around the bloodstream and eating them up and bringing them out of your body. But that only happens in a fasted state or a hypocaloric state, which is why we see so many people getting benefits from different diets. But a lot of times it comes down to two things. They're not overeating on the calories, and they're doing at least a 12-hour fast every day. So my highest recommendation for everyone, and we've seen this across the blue zones, we've seen it honestly in all the literature between traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, dating back many thousands of years, is we've always done at least a 12-hour fast. So we're looking at 6 o'clock at night or so, 7 o'clock at night to 6 or 7 the next day. That means stopping eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. And part of that is because you're going to have weaker, slower, poorer digestion if you go to bed with a full stomach.
You're also laying down, right? Gravity helps you digest things and move downward.
Especially when you lie on that left side.
Right.
Exactly
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yep. So your stomach actually comes like a kidney bean on the left side. That's where the fundus of the stomach is. So when you want to digest a meal, and they did this for thousands of years, having a siesta after lunch, is that you would actually lie, you would take a nap for 20 minutes to 30 minutes on your left side.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't know the left side. So it actually helps move the lymphatic system and helps with digestion.
So it's better to lay on the left side.
Because there's a pocket there will help you better digest the food.
Oh, interesting.
If you rely on your right side, you actually move the food through faster.
You know what's weird about that? I've noticed that just anecdotally. Now that you're saying that, if I do eat before bed, it feels much more comfortable to lay on my left side. I feel like I'm a bit better to digest. So fasting 12 hours, and you're recommending people do in the evening, which I think is probably easier to do anyway, because 8 of those hours are going to be sleep.
You want to do it without a doubt, exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully that 8 is easy. But really, when you look at it from many thousands of years of natural medicine, you wanted to be eating, if possible, while you're active and moving, and then less so when your body would be less metabolically active. You're still going to get some fast in the morning upon waking because your body is not yet ready to eat food. So you want to flush it with some water or lemon water or whatever you choose to do in the morning. So you do need to get the hydration there to flush. But we do need to stop eating, ideally use our diurnal rhythm as it starts to get darker at night. Okay, maybe a little later in the summer, a little earlier in the winter if possible to work with the seasons. But no matter when you go to bed, well, let's say you stop eating at 10 o'clock at night, don't eat until 10 o'clock the next morning.
Okay, and you're talking about eating when you're active. I read some studies that showed that postprandial walks, like 10 minutes after a meal, reduces the insulin response and the sugar spike that can sometimes happen after meals.
I know we're only giving 2, but that's such a huge one.
Is it really? Okay.
If you can take a 20-minute walk, take your dog for a walk, just go for a walk after you eat, it's incredible for not allowing you to get that huge spike in blood sugar. That's so important for many different reasons because it affects your vascular system, it affects the eyes, it affects advanced glycation end products, ages, like all of these things. If you start to spike blood sugar, you're basically stressing out your body. And so if we can control that blood sugar spike just by going for a 10, 20-minute walk, it's absolutely incredible. So I highly recommend that.
And the thing about that, and you'll probably agree with this because you've studied one of the, I guess, the most ancient form of medicine, is walking after a meal. You find that in most old cultures. It's kind of part of their culture. My family's from Italy.
Yes.
And after a meal, it's like that's what we do. It was very traditional. We'd eat a meal and then we'd all go for a walk together afterwards. And you find that in a lot of cultures.
And think about how long the meals were as well, right?
Oh, right. Very long.
Yeah, we weren't just packing the food in.
No.
We were eating slowly. We would chewing it really well, so we had better digestion, which means we had better absorption, which means we had less fermentation and bacterial buildup then in the gut. I mean, all of that is just so vitally important.
In fact, we would, for the big meals, the big Sunday meals, we would eat 2 or 3 courses or 1 or 2 courses. We'd get up while the other course is getting ready, and we'd move around and walk and talk and then come back and sit down.
And it's funny when we look at it, I actually did a podcast on this. It's called essentially food combining. People get all like wound up about food combining. But if you look at all the traditions, like my family's Italian as well, I'd go over my grandmother's every single Sunday, and it was the best. It wasn't expensive food. We had a fruit cup to start, and it was out of a can. But we had a fruit cup to start. After that, we would have a pasta course. And after that, we would have like a roast beef or something like that, and then we would do the salad at the end.
Right.
Very different than the US. Well, look at it. Fruit, digest in 20 minutes. Pasta, 30 to 60 minutes. It's a processed, broken down grain, basically. Meat, 2 to 3 hours. Raw vegetables, 3 hours plus. So perfect food layering.
Oh, brilliant. We're
And
brilliant.
we didn't even know it, right? Like we had been handed all of that information down throughout thousands of years, and we no longer follow it. And we just basically eased into the digestive system. And it was a great way because we had courses, we had time between each meal. We could allow the food to move through. We didn't pack our stomachs. And typically that was the one bigger meal for the day. And we did it in the blue zones with a sense of community, camaraderie. And after the meal, this is one other thing, all the adults would do coffee after the meal if they had some dessert.
Yes, yes.
Which was an hour or so later. But why coffee after the meal?
Yeah.
Not before.
Yeah, tell me.
Because it doesn't spike the nervous system, which they weren't worried about that. But coffee is acidic going in. And that acid is needed to break down all of the food. So it was brilliant.
Oh, that's so
They
funny.
put in a digestive. It was basically a digestive aid. Coffee, hot coffee, not cold. Hot coffee is an amazing digestive aid.
Wow, my mom was right all along.
All along.
Again.
Gotta call her and thank her.
Again. So we talked about fasting.
Yes.
We talked about the postprandial walk. I did say 2. We did name 2, but the one I was leading you towards was like hot therapy, like saunas. I've been reading a lot about that. So what are the benefits of that?
You know, it's absolutely incredible, and really, we have so much research right now on fasting and autophagy, and we have that same research right now on saunas. I wrote about this, and one of the things I wrote about is that sauna is not something new. It's actually been done for thousands of years. We have sweat lodges in the Native American culture. We have all the way back in like stone ages where they like built pits in the ground and they put like animal hides over it.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible. So this is not something new. It was used for ritualistic. It was used for cleansing of the body. It was used for meditation. Well, we know now, even if we're not talking about infrared, let's take out the infrared rays, because actually a lot of the studies aren't necessarily on the infrared, although that can help with heavy metal detoxification, other things. It's just dry sauna. Okay. And what happens with that dry sauna, and we're not talking about 40 minutes in a hot dry sauna. You know, if you get the temperature above 180, I want to just leave a caveat. We have to be careful with going on for an extremely long time.
Okay.
Because a lot of competitive people like to say, how long can I stay in the sauna?
Of course.
But if your head is in the sauna, there is actually some capillary damage that can be done to the eyes if you stay in for an extended period of time.
Okay.
So I just want to warn that because a lot of people aren't talking about it. However, the studies were done on 19 minutes. 19 minutes in a finished sauna, which is just your regular dry sauna. And it was done 4 to 5 days per week. And they found that the men that did that, and they tracked them, this is a European-based study, we can link it up in the show notes, is that, and this is a very large study, that it decreased all cardiovascular death risk by 63%.
Holy cow.
Absolutely amazing. And it decreased all-cause mortality, which means any form of death, by 42%.
Wow.
And I always say, if there was a drug that did that, it would be $1 trillion drug. So how we're not recommending sauna to people 4 to 5 days a week for 19 minutes, maybe up to 30 minutes or so is unremarkable. I mean, it's just, we need to be doing that. This information has to get out to people, because if you're doing fasting and you're doing sauna, you're doing 2 things that could potentially increase your lifespan by a decade. We don't know, we can't say that, but I also believe it's going to increase the quality of your life, which matters as well.
Sure. Excellent information as usual.
Thank you
very much. Look, if you have any questions, put it in the comments below. I'll visit periodically to answer those for you. Also, subscribe to our channel. We post new videos all the time.